you stakeholders. Welcome session. So this is just the first of many times we'll meet all together. I have just a bit of a little presentation to go through what HEN and HCC is and what it means to be a stakeholder. My name is Katie, and with me from HEN is also Janie.
Hello.
A little intro who we are in a little second as part of the presentation. So I'm just going to get right into it. If you have any questions, if this is your first year doing Youth Stakeholder, your second year, welcome. And regardless, this is going to be a really fun year. It's going to be different from the year before. So if this is your second time or third time coming back, we're switching it up again. Things are with our theme, with what we're going to be doing. So it's very exciting. Also, in the purpose of this meeting, I really wanted to hear from you guys. There'll be a chance for you to fill out a Menti form. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so I will just share my screen. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. Don't worry about turning your camera on right now, just because when I share my screen, everybody's going to go pretty small, but I'll keep mine on so you can see me. Okay, let me share my screen. Here's my presentation, and let me know if you can see it full screen. Can you see that big?
I can see it full screen, so I think everyone can.
Yay, okay, good, because I'm always like, there's always a fear, even though I've done Zoom calls all the time, I'm sure we're all very used to the online Zoom platform. I'm always afraid that it's just everybody can see my desktop and how messy it is, and they don't see what I'm looking at. So I'm glad you can see my presentation. Again, this is the welcome session. I'll just start by doing our land acknowledgement. So as a community, we have the responsibility to honor, care for, and respect all that creation provides with us. This includes the land, water, air, fire, animals, plants, and our ancestors. The Anishinaabe people have utilized this land for millennia, and we like to acknowledge their direct descendants, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, as the rightful caretakers and title holders of the land upon which we live, work, and conduct ourselves. We acknowledge our treaty relationship and responsibilities to both the land and these original peoples. We also recognize that this land is rich in pre-contact history and customs, which include the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and since European contact has and continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. There's a spirit and the intent of the dish with one spoon, wampum agreement, where we collectively care for and respect the land, water, animals, and each other in the interest of peace, friendship, and for the benefit of not ourselves, but our future generations, which is really the crux of Gen Green. Just also like to say that we're on Treaty 22. So this is, again, just a chance for us to think back on the land and as we gather to protect it and work towards a greener and more sustainable future. So congrats, you are an HCC Youth Stakeholder. I'm sorry that the little layering under there is so light. It looks much better on my screen. Basically, it says that we are all a motivated group of young people who really do want to make a change in our community. And this is a way that you're doing it. And I'm so grateful that you guys all wanted to come and join. Janie and I were happy to go on this journey with you, because it really will be a journey from start to finish. Like I said, if this is your second year being a youth stakeholder, being your first, every year we switch up the game. We try new things, we try to go bigger, we try to grow every single year. So this is very exciting that you're all here. This is just the start, and we are going to go far as a group. Awesome. So I just wanted to do like a brief overview of what HEN or who HEN is, and also through the Halton Climate Collective is, just in case you're not really familiar with what we do and what we kind of go through, the actions that we do in community. So just a brief little overview. I'm not going to read all that stuff on the side, but you can go ahead and kind of like skim through it yourself. But HEN, we support local climate action. So we do that in lots of different ways. We work with lots of different groups, including municipalities, different community groups, youth groups like you guys, and gardens, different faith communities. So we're doing lots and lots of different things. You can see from the pictures that is like a waste diversion event that we did, a canoe garden, and the 100 debates is the other picture there. So we've got our hands in lots of different pots, all with the purpose of inspiring and creating a community of environmental stakeholders that's really working towards a low carbon and a climate resilient community. So these are all the different programs that HEN is involved in. HEN is our umbrella sort of I don't want to say company, but it's like our umbrella sort of brand. And then we have all these little mini brands, these little things that we do where we try to connect with as many people as possible. So the Halton Climate Collective, Generation Green is one of those. The Halton Food, which really focuses on sustainable food sources. Oakville Ready and GSS, Green and Sacred Spaces, are very faith-based focused. And Halton Green Screens is very film focused. And then Halton Waste Mitigation is all about doing that waste challenge and trying to get more people to divert waste from landfills to other purposes. So these are all the different things that we're doing. And Gen Green, as you can see, is just one little part of it, but we really do touch on everything else that HEN does. So it really does feed into everything here and really covers who HEN is as a core organization. Cool. So moving on from HEN, again, if you have any questions about HEN, you want to learn more, you can also ask in the chat. Janie is monitoring the chat for me because while I look at my presentation, I cannot see the chat, just in case you're trying to message me or raise your hand. I'll get back to you. We can talk a little bit more informally after. So the Halton Climate Collective, as you saw, is just a section of that HEN is involved in. The purpose, of course, is to create a low carbon, climate resilient community. And we do so in partnership with all of these organizations. So Conservation Halton, both school boards, all the municipalities, Burlington, Oakville, Halton Hills, Milton, Sheridan College, University of Waterloo. So these are all groups that we work closely with as Gen Green. They support us, we support them, and there's lots and lots of connections and synergy between these groups. So Generation Green is just one of those things. So all of those groups there, they all kind of contribute to what it is. So I just thought, in case this was your first time even hearing about Gen Green, that I would recap the first 2 years of the program for you as we move and think about this year. Oh, actually, before we do that, I wanted to give you a little background about who me and Janie are, just in case you've never met us before. So Janie, I'll let you start, just introduce who you are, and then I will introduce who I am.
Thanks, Katie. Well, my name is Janie. I've met some of you before, but some of you are new, to me at least. So my name is Janie. I'm the manager of volunteer services and administration here at HEN. So I'll be helping out more with the volunteer letters, the hours, and supporting Katie in any way that she needs. But that's a little bit about myself and what I do here at HEN.
Amazing. And Janie, do you want to just give like a little bit of a background of what you did before you joined HEN and kind of what you studied and what you're doing?
Sure, perfect. All right. Well, I went to school for media and communications, and I specialized in public relations, so more on the marketing side of things. And then after school, I kind of decided, I really wanted to give back to the community. I was looking into the nonprofit sector, so I worked at Habitat for Humanity before here at HEN. So I have, a diverse background in more of the public relations side, but also volunteer management and nonprofits.
Thank you, Janie. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie, and I'm the marketing manager for Halton Environmental Network and also the program lead for Generation Green. This is my second year with Gen Green, third-ish because I was there the first program too, but not as the lead program developer. So my background, I did my undergrad at University of Toronto in environmental sciences and film, and then I did a master's in environmental sciences, and I've been working at HEN now for 3 years, and all of those different programs that I outlined before, I've literally worked on every single one of them in some capacity, so I'm very familiar with everything that HEN does, and I'm really excited to run through Generation Green again. Some of you I've worked with before, some of you not. It'll be really exciting to come together and really plan the conference, the project, all the other engagements that we're going to do this year. And like I said, at kind of the beginning of the call, like this is going to be completely new. So everything that we learned from the year before, if you're coming as a return stakeholder, we're going to just build on top of that. And I'll get a little bit more into the details as we kind of grow as a team. Amazing. Cool. So this is what Generation Green is. It's for youth by youth. So students like you and all around Halton we really want to give them the tools and the resources. So I want to give you what you need in order to actively empower you to reduce greenhouse gas emissions or our carbon footprint within Halton. So it's really about giving you the skills and the the inspiration, connecting you with people you want to learn from. It's about really growing who you are as a person so that we can all move together to create this low carbon, climate resilient community. So it's about learning how to calculate your greenhouse gas emissions. It's about learning how to create campaigns. It's about learning how to plan things, do a little event planning. And it's all about you building these skills and learning and growing as a person. So this is really what Generation Green is. We grow as a youth stakeholder group, and then we grow as individuals when we do the project and we learn what it is, that actions we can take in order to reduce our input. So it's all about those tangible physical learnings that you do rather than just concepts and thinking about things in a kind of an international sense or something that's other than you. This really tries to bring it back to your own actions and what we can do and the power we have as individuals and as groups to really create movements and inspire action. So that's Gen Green. So the process of Gen Green, just in case you didn't know, we create this team of youth stakeholders. So you will be our youth stakeholder team. It's all ages, all over Halton, both school boards. We work together to plan the conference. We'll work together to really set up the project. Something new that I'd like to do this year, again, if you are returning and if you're new, I want all of us to be involved in creating a rubric for the project. Part of the project, we also have prizes. So as a youth stakeholder group, we'll be looking into that. We'll be looking into fundraising opportunities for us, and I'll go into a little bit more about what it means to be a youth stakeholder in another slide. We'll also be involved in planning that wrap-up event. So the conference is looking like it might be virtual based on the way things are going, but our wrap-up event, we're really looking to maybe be in person. So we're just kind of testing the waters and seeing how things are in schools and just general community around that, those types of, whether it's in person or virtual. So it's going to be like a little bit of a hybrid. Last year, if you weren't part of last year Gen Green, or if you were, everything was virtual. So it was a different challenge than the year before, which was all in person. So yeah, it'll be interesting to take on the year as it sort of shifts around. And that's also part of spring break engagements. The stakeholders last year did such an amazing job in the spring break. So I kind of want to give it to them again this year, to you guys, to really plan and do great stuff. Again, whether or not it's in person or virtual, we'll do lots of interesting engagements, and we can do lots of interesting webinars and workshops. And it's about focusing again on trying to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. So that's the real big goal of the Halton Climate Collective. It's about figuring out ways that we can become more green and sustainable overall. So everything that we do here at Gen Green is all with the goal and intention of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions as much as possible. Cool. So just a quick recap of 2019, 2020. So some of you may have been at the conference. Some of you may have been I think you might have been at that conference, might have heard about it. It was an in-person conference. Our first team was about 10 youth stakeholders. We had about 50 projects. We gave out tons of volunteer hours, you can see there. We had 15 judges, and we reduced about, my thing is blocking it, but I think it was about 20 or so, 20.3 tons of carbon dioxide equivalents. So that was a really, like, especially for such a short amount of time, with those amount of projects, we made a really big impact. Last year, and you'll see a little quick video that was shown at our wrap-up event, we had about 596 HDSB students. So we were a little bit more focused on HDSB. That first year we were both school boards, now we're back again. So we're always looking to ways that we can include everyone, and also a way that we can most engage with as many people as possible. So last year we had about 55 youth stakeholders. So we were quite a big group. We had about 124 projects submitted. You can see that lots of volunteer hours were given out, and we had about 28 professional judges judging all those projects with the boards and recognitions there. So it grew, as you can see, it even grew a little bit. And once it flashes up through the video there, you can see that we even reduced more carbon dioxide equivalents than we did the first year. So we made even a bigger impact, and yeah, the little video just kind of tries to put that into context for you. So it's like 23 point something. Okay, you're right, it'll flash up again for me in that last year. So that was quite a big impact. You can see from the first year, the second year we bumped up, and then hopefully this year we bump up again in our new theme and focus. Cool. I kind of already talked about this. Again, it's about making sure that our connection with you as we build this youth stakeholder team, that generation thing is always authentic to your vision, to young people who what we want to do, to what your friends are talking about, that we drive action, that we connect again with all the partners that HCC is part of, and we let them know what we want to do as a group in order to enact change and create solutions that really empower not only us, but your families, your parents, your friends to take action as well. Cool. So this year's theme is active transportation. This theme was chosen by last year's youth stakeholder group. This theme in particular is very interesting because I don't know if you've done one of our Gen Green projects in the past, but this was always a theme. Transportation in general is one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. So we really wanted to pick this theme because it really targets the biggest area that is the hardest to reduce. And in terms of projects, we kind of already have the framework for that, but it's like, what can we do with this one theme and how much can we change in our community just by really focusing in on this one section. So I'm very excited to see how we can target active transportation, how we connect with the school boards, with municipalities. There's lots of work that's going on in all of these different groups in order to increase active transportation. So as a group, we can really leverage what's going on, really work closely, and maybe hopefully, and I know we will, make a big impact too. So this is our theme for this year. If this is new knowledge to you, which I'm sure is new for all of us, do take some time to think about what active transportation means to you. Again, I talked a little bit about a Menti that's going around, and I will flash it up really soon. Because what I want us to do today on this first day, when we think about this theme, when we think about what it means to be a youth stakeholder, is think about what your goals are as an individual and what our goals are as a group. So I really want to know, again, this is just an outline of what we're kind of working on. We really want to build our team. We want to plan that project launch or that conference. We're looking at maybe doing it, November is next month, so it could be at the end of November or even in December. We're looking at some webinar engagements workshops. I'm already in lots of conversations with Green Communities Canada and different municipality groups too, and who are doing interesting work on active transportation. So I got the ball rolling for us a little bit. I'm not going to present on that today because I just kind of want you guys to give a chance to reflect on the theme and yourselves, but I will set up another meeting for us. And then of course the wrap up event is looking to be in May and June. So this is kind of, again, just a really rough outline of everything we're working on, just to give you a sense of the timings a little bit, but we'll talk through more of these details together as a group. And you'll have a lot of input to put in about when we do things and how. Cool, so this is just generally what it means to be a Green Generation Green youth stakeholder. So again, youth stakeholders are part of the Halton Climate Collective, part of Halton Environmental Network, and of course, part of Gen Green. What it looks like is about 1 to 5 hours a week of commitment. So it kind of depends. Anybody who was a youth stakeholder last year who is on the call who might want to talk a little bit about it. I'll see if maybe there's somebody raises their hand who wants to talk a little bit about that commitment, but it does vary depending on like what's going to happen. It starts off slow. When we get close to the conference and the project launch, it really picks up, and then it kind of lulls a little bit. And then as we move through the project, that kind of, you might be doing a little more as we do spring break, and we start planning those activities, that time increases. And then so it's sort of whether or not you're doing more hours or less hours. Of course, all of this is volunteer. You will get volunteer hours for doing this initiative with us, and we try to honor the work that you do here. So again, I'm not sure if there's anybody on the call who was a youth stakeholder last year, just wants to speak a little bit about the time commitment. Again, no pressure. Again, as a youth stakeholder, what you're really doing is you're really helping us plan that conference. You're brainstorming ideas, you're doing research, you're creating material, you might be filming some videos, you might be interviewing people who the workshop presenters, if there's a chance to do that. You can be helping us with fundraising, social media, you could even run workshops if you're interested. So there's lots of ways to get involved. Again, you can see the role, we're really asking you to be an environmental leader in your community, to engage with others, to engage with us as a group, to learn and to really develop skills. We want to make sure this is a rewarding experience for you. And then of course, to help us plan the project, to give your feedback to us, to be a part of the whole process. from start to finish. So that is really the role of a youth stakeholder. What we're really asking is that you come join with us on this journey, starting now, running until June, and just kind of help us plan, and we'll be in contact. Again, sometimes we meet more frequently, sometimes a little less frequently, but really it's being part of this group and helping us drive climate action in your schools and throughout Halton. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions about the expectations of a youth stakeholder that they want to throw in, or you feel free to unmute and ask if you'd like as well.
Someone wrote something in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't see the chat, but I will try to pull it up. Oh, Liam, if you would like to unmute yourself and talk about your experience last year, you're welcome to.
Okay, yeah, so I was in it last year. The time commitment, I think it was like weekly. I think we did like meetings usually once a week, sometimes like less. And for the conference, I was in like the logistics of it. There wasn't really like, there wasn't like a major, like a lot of stuff to go over, but like it was like a fair amount of time planning it. Then like it was all good after the conference. Like the conference is usually really fun. We got to talk about it, and then like after there's like a follow-up with like some games, and then I think there was a movie night too. Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's because Gen Green kind of hits those three sort of big initiatives: the conference, the project, and then the wrap-up. Things are busy when they're sort of around those times to planning and doing stuff, and then they kind of go quiet down a little bit. Yeah, we try to do fun activities too, and spring break was also really fun. In terms of the project, there is a project that we you'll help sort of guide us a little bit more this year, I think, than last year as a stakeholder. Just not as a surprise, but just so you know, we really want your input to help us plan how the project's going to be, especially because it's going to be a little bit different from the year before. For context, the year before the project, we had 3 different topics you could choose from: active transportation, waste, or home energy. And we really focused in on home energy and waste as 2 topics. So for this year, we're not going to be focusing on waste or home energy at all. We're only going to be doing projects based on active transportation. So how it looks and what we're going to be doing, that's kind of when might meet with you and ask your input for that. And then Janie and I go away, we take what you said and we try to apply it in a way that is authentic to what you tell us. And again, that is not authentic, but that is easy to apply. So it's not going to be complicated. That will be here to support you. Last year, I also did like webinars and workshops. So there'll be lots of material to help out. Something just so you guys can think about that we're discussing this year is whether or not, as a youth stakeholder group, we want to do a project where we do like a larger action. We go back to municipalities with suggestions on how we can improve active transportation, whether that be like, oh, we want you to close streets or something like that right before school, so that way I can ride my bike to school, or I want more bike racks here, so that we can go. So there might be an opportunity for us to do something a little bit different. And there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of I think creativity that can go in with how we want to approach that project. But again, this is all right at the beginning, early days, so you don't have to have anything super planned yet. But part of the conference is making sure that we learn the things we need to learn in order to help us do the project. That makes sense there. Thank you, Liam, for speaking, and Camilla for answering your question too. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, like part of what Janie and I were going to help and also what the conference and what being part of Gen Green really does is we really want to provide you with expert knowledge. So part of that could be connecting our group and of course the larger group of Halton students too with experts from different municipalities, from different groups that work on active transportation. There's a group, for example, in Toronto that's 8 to 80 who focuses on how to make travel more accessible from ages 8 to 80. And different groups, like I mentioned, the Green Communities Canada, they're doing a lot of studies on how the importance of transportation and how we can increase transportation, what are the limitations, that type of stuff. So I want to bring these people in to speak to us as we plan our projects, and then to speak to everybody else as well. There's lots of things that are going on right now in Halton specifically too. Like every municipality, even both school boards, they have plans on how to increase active transportation. So we want to figure out what their plans are. We want to know what they're doing, because we want to know if we can support their work. Because if we can help them, then we can actually give great suggestions on what we can do. And then we can show too, as a youth group, not only stakeholders, but as a huge Halton youth group, what we can do in order to advance this topic. So we want to kind of connect with those key people. And as a youth stakeholder group, it might be just us that connects with them, or it might be as a larger group, and that might be part of planning those workshops and webinars. And then we just want to work on, implementing the program, getting the Gen Green out there and kind of building it. So again, you kind of come with the ideas for us. Jeannie and I take those ideas. We might give you some tasks in return. And then together we really build the program and that project launch in the project. And again, this year is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to build on top of the project that we are, like the bones of the project from last year. So we're not going to try to reinvent everything, but we're going to try to do something different this year as well. So if this is your first year doing it, if this is your second year doing it this year, we're going to really try something new. So it's not going to be exactly like last year, but it's going to be very similar. So if you're coming in as a stakeholder, return stakeholder, and you have any advice for any other stakeholders here, you can throw it in the chat. But there'll be lots of chance for us to meet and hang out and go into breakout rooms. It won't be today, but I'll set up some other calls as well. So just to give a little background of what this year might look like and what we might be doing that's a little different than last year. Cool, so this is when I kind of talked a little bit about that Mentimeter. This is a QR code that you can scan with your phone. I'm going to, in a second, end the presentation just so I can throw in the link into the chat, because the link to this Mentimeter, if you never used Menti before, it's very similar to the SurveyMonkey. This is going to ask you a couple first questions, will be just, what's your grade? Do you want volunteer hours? Just some basic questions you're used to. The actual how to use Menti, and then it'll sort of run into what skills do you want to learn as a youth stakeholder? What are your goals? What do you want us to do as a group? What are your thoughts about active transportation? Are there any things that you're thinking about, things you want to know, things you want to learn about? Put that all into the Menti, and we're going to see and see if we can apply that and shape the program. Because as I mentioned too in the email, every year is different and every youth stakeholder is unique. Your journey is different than somebody else's journey. We want to make sure that we're supporting you and providing you the things that you need. This whole program where you guys tell us, direct us, but it's really, it's driven by youth. We're just here to support you and make sure that you feel comfortable doing what you want to do, and that you achieve your goals while you're here. So this is a chance for Jeannie and I to get to know what you're thinking. So again, I'm just going to end my presentation so that I can throw the link into the chat. One second. The lull is because I'm trying to find the link, which I set up beforehand so that I wouldn't have to worry, and now I can't find it. So give me 1 second, and then I'll throw that link. If you were able to scan the QR code really quickly while I was talking, then you should be doing the Menti. If not, just give me 1 second and I'm going to pull it up for you. Or not. And anybody has any questions too, they want to ask them in the chat or just unmute and ask them, do feel free. Give me 1 second. Because as you watch me struggle to do the things that I'm trying to do, now's a good opportunity to just ask me something informally as well. Here we go. There, So I just put the Menti in the chat too. So if you were able to do that QR code, I'm just gonna share my screen again so you can scan it if you'd like. Can you see that? Okay. Good question. Did you know campaign is a social media campaign that I'd like to start up again. This would be if you're interested in finding out facts or sharing or just getting more content out on our Instagram and Twitter. We have two that we sort of dedicate to this program and also to Gen Green. So if that's something you're interested in, it'd just be working a little more closely and sharing more facts about what active transportation is, maybe connecting, maybe researching, just kind of getting more information out there so that we're sort of letting people know what we're doing and what our goals are and what's expected, making sure people have the knowledge they need. I don't know how much you know about active transportation. I mean, mostly active transportation is talking about how do you get from one place to the other place. And it's trying to encourage more people from taking maybe short trips in their car to transitioning to something else. But what would be the barriers for people doing that? So part of the Did You Know could be looking into that type of stuff and sharing it out. So just wanted to know if you're interested in doing something like that. Again, if there's a couple other options too, fundraising, planning the conference and events. If you don't see the thing that you're interested in, just put that in other, and then we can reach out. We can try to build the program around that too. Amazing. And this Mentimeter will be open for a week or so, I think about 7 or so days. So if you don't want to answer it right now, or you just kind of want to think a little bit more about your answers, I'll be sharing the link in a follow-up email after this call along with this recording. So then you can kind of take some time to answer those questions there. Amazing. So let me reshare my screen. Everyone see that? So basically, again, Gen Green is all about us working collectively to drive change in our community. So when you think about what your goals are as an individual, as a group, what your intentions are for this, being part of Gen Green, as you answer the Menti, think that we're on this journey together. We're going to do some amazing things this year. We're going to collect with a lot of different people. I can say, like I said, I've had a couple of conversations with groups that are actively working on active transportation and other things as well. So they're very excited to start working. They're waiting for us to for this meeting to happen so that I can reconnect with them. And again, if whether or not it's just us group connecting so that we can kind of communicate that to the rest of our peers. Or just creating those workshops, working towards that project launch. There's a lot of things that are just starting. So if you have ideas now and you want to think about it, or you want to do some research on active transportation, now's a good time. And I'll set up a next meeting for us. I'll send out a doodle as well so we can get the ball rolling on this. Something else that I'm just going to also talk about while we're all together is if you are looking for volunteer hours and you're looking for them right now, and we have a couple initiatives that Janie and I can kind of speak to. The first one is HCC Let's Read. So HCC Reads is a program we do every single year, similar to Generation Green, and we pick a book. This year's book is called Saving Us by Catherine Hayhoe. It's all about how to have a conversation about climate change with people or individuals who might not be as tuned on as we are to what climate change is and why it's important. So she kind of goes through, she herself is a climate scientist, or atmospheric scientist. She does this all the time. She's a really well-spoken. She's going to be speaking to our community. If you're part of the HDSB, she'll be speaking on November 16th. It's a field trip that you can be a part of. If you aren't part of the HDSB, or maybe that, I think it's at 2 p.m. on the 16th, that conflicts with something that you're working on, like in school, then you can also connect on the 18th. She's going to be coming to us to speak directly, and you can register for that pretty much starting on Saturday. So I'll be sure to share that link with you too.
Also to note,
Yeah, go for it.
It is most likely, we're still trying to figure it out. Most likely we're going to try and get it recorded. So if the 18th doesn't work for you as well, we will probably have it recorded. We just kind of have to go through logistics and how we can, get people to register and send that link to them specifically. So it's not just out for the public type of thing. But yeah, it's a really great book. Even if you want to read it, it's a great way to get hours, but also just reading it in general, it's a really, really positive spin on what we can do. Because I know a lot of us, myself included, sometimes, when we talk about things, it's not so much of a happy conversation. So this is more of, what are the positive things we can do?
Amazing. And if you are planning to read the book as a youth stakeholder, I'm also going to share with you a media release form. So this is something that you can get your parents to sign. As a youth stakeholder, there might be opportunities for you to be on Kojiko TV, to be on Zoom calls that we record and we share on our YouTube channel, that type of stuff. So just want to get your permission from your parents first off. Leading into that, if you are reading Saving Us and you want to film a little video, we have a little script that we can share with you, and they'll put that on our Instagram too, just with you basically saying, I'm a youth stakeholder and I'm reading Saving Us. It'd be great to promote the program and to promote, again, Gen Green too. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I will send the details and you can just let Janie and I know and we'll connect with you off the call with that. Again, just so you know, for that initiative, there's kind of a different stages. So you'll read the book, you'll watch Catherine speak, whether it's on the 16th, the 18th, or in that rerun record. And then you'll be asked to do like an engagement, like a blog, infographics, social media sort of thing. The details are outlined, if I can go back. Oh, I can't go back. They're outlined in that little link. Janie, I don't know if you want to throw the form, if it's ready, the link there so that people can see it. So you'll see those different steps on how you can do that engagement and get those 15 hours. This is also something you might be interested in. It's coming up November 10th. Janie and I are both a part of it. It's a documentary called Youth Unstoppable. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a really great documentary about the global youth climate movement. It really focuses on Greta and different individual people. The director, she also stars in the film, Slater Jewel Chemiker, I think is her name, if I pronounced her last name right. She is going to be there live on this date, November 10th, talking about her film, talking about how she filmed it, about youth, about activism. She's a climate activist. So it'd be great if you're interested in that, you can join in. It's free, so you can watch the film and you can join that live Q&A. So that'll be a lot of fun as well if you're interested. Cool. And then, sorry, last slide, and then I'll let you guys go. This, if you wanted to connect with us, you can see my email there or not. Yeah, you can see our email, my email there. And then Janie, I think you can put your email in the chat if you want to have any questions about volunteering at HEN. This is the Twitter and the Instagram. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can go ahead and look. And if you do have any other questions, you can also email me and or throw them in the chat now. I know this call has gone a little bit longer than what I said it would. So if you do have to pop off for any reason, then do feel free to. This is being recorded. I'll share the recording. I'll share all these resources with you so that you can see them. And then we can start planning and get started with Gen Green youth stakeholders, planning that project launch in the end of November, end of December as we decide those dates. So again, welcome to Youth Stakeholder Gen Green 2021, 2022. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of stuff that we can talk through and plan together. And I'm excited to do that with you throughout the year. Yay. And that is it.
I just had a question.
Yes.
So would you guys happen to have like copies of the book for HCC Reads?
Yeah, so there are copies available at every single local library, and there's also copies available from your school libraries. And they are available in hard copy and also as an ebook version. So you can find it either of those versions as well. Something else though, I think we have that I think would be available to you as a group is we have a couple. Well, one copy I have that I thought we could use as a Gen Green group as sort of a promotional material, like a giveaway thing. But we can use that book. I think I don't know how we're going to share it. Anyway, never mind. Don't forget about that. But I'm going to use a book as a giveaway for something that we do as a Gen Grade stakeholder group. But you can find it from the local library online or HDSB. I was going to say, I could figure out a way to give you the hard copy, but with COVID and with our all being like different places, might be a little more challenging. So if you are looking to join in on HCC Reads, do check out your library. It's also available in bookstores, so you can find it there. Some of them might have stickers on them. We have these really great HCC stickers that we put on them. So if you might find a copy there on one of those indigos and or a different drummer that we were at inside. But you'll find it in your library. Sorry for such a long answer to a very quick question, but yeah, it's a great program if you want to get involved. It's a lot of fun and you can sign up in that form or contact Janie.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I shall say too, if you want to do HCC Reads, or if you want anybody, you can welcome to join into that program. Also, your parents and maybe other friends as well, if they're in like different grades or your younger siblings or something like that, they can join on the 16th. You can also join on the 18th. That's open to everyone. It's going to be hosted by Sheridan College, so it'll be really exciting. So you can join in and do the anybody can do HCC Reads. You don't have to be a student to do it. Of course, the volunteer hours are only applicable if you're in a high school student, but anybody can read it. So if you want to challenge your mom or your dad or your other parent or guardian to read the book with you, then definitely get them involved as well. The more people who read, the better. Read the book, the better. Awesome. Is there any other final questions? If not, I'm going to send you that Menti. Please fill it out. You have 7 days, actually more than 7 days, I think you have 9 days to finish it. But you'll see, so do it within those 9 days. Don't leave it to the end, but you have lots of time to fill it out. I will email this stuff to you. I'll email this recording so you can watch me struggle with my computer again if you'd like as well, or just to recap on the information that I gave. There'll be more of these meetings upcoming. There'll be more planning things upcoming. Like I said, as we get closer to certain events, we might meet more. We might not meet as often in between those sessions, but you'll be seeing more from Janie and I for sure. And I'm really glad to get started with you guys. And you're welcome to head out. If you have any other questions you want to email me, you can email me at katrine@haltonenvironment.ca. I'll put it in the chat, and hope you guys have a good evening. If you want to stay on and ask some questions, do feel free. Janie and I will be on for a little bit longer too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Julia, you can ask me here.
Okay, hi, how are you guys?
Hi,
Good,
Julie.
how are you?
I'm well. School is like finally in person. I did online the whole year last year.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah. How's that going? Is it different?
It's going well, it's just there's kind of not a lot of distancing at times, so it makes me a little bit anxious.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you have to be, for school, do you have to be vaccinated now, or is that not mandated yet?
No, it's not mandated. I am fully vaccinated, and like you have to be for pretty much a lot of things, like for swimming I do, and movie theaters and restaurants, but not in schools yet, which is like a little bit like,
That's interesting.
yeah, it's a little interesting because like I'm in the winter time, I'm scared that the cases are going to go up.
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah. But it does look like we're trending positive, but again, we'll see, where things go with the weather and whatnot, but I'm hopeful, but we'll see. Yeah, I can imagine it. And I'm saying that as someone who we're working from home, so I don't have as much as a fear, because I'm not physically going into work every day. So I can imagine it's sometimes not fun.
Yeah. So I just had a quick question. I'm just checking my email for my initiatives account, and I think I might start getting a few messages on the Instagram, but The volunteer letter, it says it's for 3 hours. However, I promised people for 5 hours.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I originally had the 3 hours, but I can totally resend them with 5 hours.
Okay. And do you mind also adding, you CC'd me in all of the emails, which is perfect, so I can like see and just double check if every participant got it who submitted it. Also, do you mind adding in the email when you send it again the feedback Google form?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Feedback form 5 and then 5 hours instead of
Yeah.
3. Perfect. Okay, yes. So I will send those out tomorrow if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm just gonna add like a story to my initiatives Instagram account so people know that's gonna like be fixed tomorrow.
Perfect. And then question for you, the forms. So sometimes people send me secondary forms. Do you know if those ones are good, if I can fill it out online or if I should print them? I'm just
Which secondary forms?
so you know how, so I don't know if for your school it's the same, but some schools they want secondary forms filled out.
My school has never required that. I know at least for my school and some other schools, all you need is like a person's name and their contact information. So that would be you. And some people just submit that letter itself.
Right. Yeah.
I
Okay.
can add like a Instagram post and say like if you need any other secondary post, just DM me and I'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. Or I mean, if as long as they send them to me, I should be fine. I just wanted to make sure. But if your school doesn't require it, no problem. I can just reach out to those. I think there was 2 individuals with them. But yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Cool. And you have the recording, Janie.
Yes. I'm gonna stop.
I'll take out the parts where I